Hello folks, sorry to interrupt this toy review in process, but we're switching gears and we might be going to a Dorks and Crafts segment. Because there's one thing I do not like about this figure, and it's something that I hopefully can change, and hopefully we'll do that together here. But this figure seems so flat when it comes to the paint job. I mean, we're talking about The Dark Knight Returns. Frank Miller. I mean, Miller's artwork is dark. He loves to play with shadows and dark details in his characters, his people, his outfits, what have you. So it's kind of a bummer that this is just so flat. I mean, McFarlane's done better jobs in the past. So anyway, after doing some research on how to do paint washes on action figures, I have concocted my own black wash paint, and there's a couple steps we need to take before we even get to that. And what I'm worried about is his cape, because it's not removable in any way, shape, or form. It is into the seams of his shoulder and cowl there, and there's no way to pop off that part of the cowl. But we're going to have to figure out a way around the cape, because from what I read, the first step will be to wash it with soap with a toothbrush to get into the little details, because there is, you know, factory oils and greases on the figure, which doesn't allow paint to stick to it, which that explains a lot of failed customs I've had in the past. I should have realized. But anyway, after that, you need to seal it, because I'm using an alcohol wash, and the alcohol can actually damage the plastic. Now, the reason I'm using the alcohol is because they say it's better for running into, you know, the seams, the detail, the musculature, stuff like that. And it dries quicker. So what we're going to have to do is wash it, seal it, and then come back here for the painting. So I'm going to pause here because I frankly don't need witnesses if I screw this up and get his cape wet or anything like that. So we'll meet back here for the paint. So be right back. Okay, I washed it pretty thoroughly and strategically, so I didn't get any of the water near the cape. And as you can see, I put his cape inside of a little baggie just to nullify any accidents from happening. And I think that really helped a lot, especially for the sealing process. So I sealed the body, and like the head and the neck and the back near the cape, I, you know, sprayed extra of the sealer on a piece of cardboard and then used a brush to get to those areas. So he's a little sticky right now, and I'm going to let him dry before we attempt the washing process. So yeah, hopefully I'll be back with a brush in hand and we'll see how this turns out. Okay, I got started. I tested it out on some hands and it seems to work. It's not the best, which I can contribute that to not using the best acrylic paint. I mean, it of course recommends Citadel miniature paint, but that stuff's so expensive. So I'm just limping along with what I had here in the laundry room, and I'm letting it set for a little bit before I wipe it off. But the consistency I have, which you'll see when I attack another body part here, it is watery enough with the alcohol that it runs the seams and definitely goes to the lowest points. But I honestly have to say I don't think these are the deepest of details, because even wiping it away gingerly, it seems to lift out of the crevices and stuff. So let's grab this little hand. As you can see, he's pretty painted up. So let's wipe it off a little bit. And the one thing about the alcohol apparently is if it dries, you can just take a cotton swab with some alcohol and it'll lift right out. See, that's not too bad. I mean, I would want it to be a little bit better, but I mean, if I have to, for some more detail-oriented places, I can just take a thin brush like I use for my miniatures and just use black paint. And maybe I didn't let it set long enough. I mean, I'm not hating, but I ain't celebrating either. Could definitely be a little bit better. Especially in these folds here. Maybe my concoction isn't strong enough. Here is another batch I made that is more paint than the first batch. So let's see if that makes any difference. I'm not going to touch the hand too much. That looks pretty good where it's at. We'll do these top digits here. And I'll let him sit for a moment. But while we do that, let's take a look at another hand. I mean, not hateful. I wish it was a little bit darker. But we definitely are getting paint into the crevices, just not super dark. Maybe that's contributed to it not being very deep like I think. We'll do the front of the hand, or the palm of the hand, sorry. Another fist. That came out pretty decent. And that's pretty good too. So we're going to let this dry, and maybe I'll tackle a couple more areas, and then we'll check back in. See you then. Okay, I've been trying this wash technique, and I'm just not happy with the results. Maybe it's me, maybe it's my concoction that I made up. But I'm going to tackle this the old-fashioned way. Back in the day, when we were painting miniatures in the 80s and 90s, before we even knew what wash was, we were just stupid kids. We just grabbed the thin brush and added detail. So I'm going to try that. And if that doesn't work, then this video won't see the light of day. Anyway, be right back.
Day 2.
Hey, it is the next night. I spent time doing a little bit of the washing process and a little bit of just using a very thin brush to fill in those folds and detailed pieces. One of the things, and I mean, I'm not an expert, so that could be where my shortcomings are, but it seems that a lot of the details aren't deep enough, and they're very rounded, so there's no real edges for the paint to like hold on to. So I've been having a lot of trouble with the wiping away process, taking the whole thing away with it. So that's where the small detailing brush has come in to try to just get those areas. Am I happy with it? Not 100%, but I still have some work to do. So I'm going to go work on it a little bit, and then we'll check back in. And I'm sorry I'm not giving like a detailed shot for shot of my experience here, but like I said, it took me all night just to get to this point, so I doubt you guys want to see a 4-hour video. Anyway, here I go, and see you in a moment. Okay folks, I'm finished with this, at least for the time being. I might try to spruce it up here and there down the road, but this definitely didn't come out the way that I had envisioned it. I think that I should have followed my own instincts. By the way, this is only the second time that I've done a custom, quote-unquote, figure like this. And the first time I did it was to my Playmates Origin, if you want to call it that, TMNT figures, that I wanted to darken up the details on those to be a little bit more akin to the original comic. Those came out fairly well, and the only difference with that is I just painted and wiped away. Now, reading directions online, which I followed because I wanted to do a great job and followed a tutorial on how to do it, and I think what really screwed me up was the putting the finish on first, because as I'm wiping paint away, I'm getting paint on my fingers, and as I'm touching where the finish is on the figure, my grubby, painty fingerprints are being left behind, which is where you get a lot of this dark areas. Does it still fit Batman, that was drawn like Frank Miller? Sure, it's grimy, it's dark, it has dark accents and shadows, and I mean, at least that was somewhat successful. But overall, yeah, I think if I do this again, which I probably will, I mean, successful or not, I did have fun, that I'm not going to do the finish spray first. Maybe I need a different finish product. Maybe I need better paints. There's a lot of what ifs because I just use what I have. And I don't have the budget to go after a set of like Citadel or Games Workshop paints and washes and things like that. So I'll continue to make do with what I have, and maybe down the road, if this is a viable extension of the hobby, then maybe I will invest in it. But I mean, at the end of the day, do I feel like I threw away $25 that I spent on this figure? Heavens no. That's not to say if I see it again, out in the wild like I did this time at Walmart, that I don't buy it again just so I have an untouched one. And I mean, I have him in the blue now. I definitely want to get the black cowl and cape version as well. And maybe the armor. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of those things came spaced out, from McFarlane Toys over the years. And I missed out on getting them, or I just wasn't feeling it at the time and missed out on it. Left it behind, what have you. But now that I've added him to the collection, I definitely want to try to get the other ones. But anyway, this was just an attempt. Was it successful? Am I happy with it? Am I still happy that I tried it? Of course. It was fun, and it's definitely not better. It's just different than the original. So, over time, I might chip away at it, but, I mean, this took a whole evening for me, which is a few hours after the kids go to bed and before I pass out, and just like an hour this evening while I finished it up. So, it was just a fun little distraction, extension of the hobby, like I said. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I might continue the figure review that I started doing at the beginning of this video and post that on Reels and Shorts. I might not. Depends on how embarrassed I feel of my final product after everything's said and done. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them, and I love getting back to everyone. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this and some of the other videos that YouTube is recommending you down below, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, or whatever it is nowadays, you'll be notified whenever there's a new episode. So anyway, until next time, thank you so much for watching. Keep being rad, and stay dorky.